Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. It has been a minute since we've had the privilege of talking our favorite sport. Life can get crazy sometimes, but we're back. Training camps are here. NFL season's right around the corner. It's one of the best times of the year. I'm excited. How are you doing, Lance?
Andrew, I'm hanging in there, man. Been a little bit of changes on the personal front in my personal life and trying to weather that storm as best as I can. But it's good. It's good. Just staying busy. So
Yeah,
just recently celebrated the 9-year anniversary mark with my wife, and yeah,
congratulations. That's
thanks,
fantastic.
man. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
9 years
crazy.
going on forever.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you? How long have you been married now?
We celebrate our 5 year this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Well, congrats to you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we have a little boy turning 2 this year.
Crazy, man. Yeah, the time just goes by
Hmm.
so fast. My
Oh
daughter
yeah,
just started learning how to walk and she is now taken off.
going everywhere, right? Yep,
Yep.
that's how it goes.
Yep. She's doing good. She's very excited to explore, except grass. Grass is a no-go.
It's scary. It's frightening.
Yeah. It's just hilarious because she's like, no, put me on the concrete. And it's like, this is actually worse than the grass.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's not how she feels in her head. So, yeah.
Yep, it's safer. It's not different. I understand how that works. Grass is
Yep.
pokey. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But yeah, man, excited for training camp. Can't believe it's already here. And
I
you
know.
know, how many days until the NFL's back? Like when the first
I
game?
think 41, at least for like the Sunday games, it's 41 days. Because I follow a guy that counts down to the first Vikings game. So if Sunday's 41, so that Wednesday, I should say, would be what, like
37.
36, 37? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Right, we're almost there. Fantasy season's already in play. Done a lot of mock drafts and all that stuff. Got some drafts scheduled. So we're here, baby. We're here. We've made it through the summer.
Yep.
July is usually the slowest month for football stuff because,
Honestly, July's the worst month of the year to me.
yeah.
I really like I really enjoyed the 4th of July, and after that it's just everything else. I just hate it.
Hmm.
I mean, living in Idaho, you guys are dealing with it too a little bit with the fires. But dude, the fires
Hmm.
have been so bad.
Yeah,
So
it's
bad.
been a crazy heat. It's been a really difficult summer as
Yeah.
far as weather is concerned.
Yeah, so I'm praying for an extra cold winter.
Hmm. It only makes sense. We had an extra hot summer, so an extra cold winter just balances it out.
Absolutely. Well, and we
Thanos
did
would
have
say
a
that's perfect balance.
I mean, listen, if we had a ton of snow this year, I would not cry. I would not complain.
Hmm.
I would tell everyone to shut
Hmm.
up. Um, yeah, it would have been a very different summer if we would have had our snowpack a little longer. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the NFL season. So, where do we want to start? There's been injuries, there's been contracts galore. What do you want to start with first? We're going to touch on some NFL stuff, and then we're going to dive into training camp for our teams because there's some stuff happening in the Minnesota world. I'm sure you got some stuff for Eagles as well. But where do you want to start?
Well, I was trying to think about that. I was thinking about talking about there's been a little bit of contract stuff. One example in particular, and only thinking about it because of the fact that it might have been the biggest contract extension to come out in the past week.
Hmm.
Um, but we before covering that one, um, earlier this summer, Jeffrey Simmons signed a new contract with the Tennessee Titans. And for me as an Eagles fan, when I saw that news, the antenna went up of, oh, we might be close to a Jalen Carter extension.
Right.
Because it sounded like he was holding off. But he got a 3-year, $105.8 million contract extension. Man, it's so much money.
Right.
Wow. Well, here's the part that's always so funny to me about contract extensions. It's so hilarious to me when I hear players say, well, I had to wait for this other player, and then I had to make sure to get more money than that player. Like,
Hmm.
I just don't get it, man.
It it's all about you feel like you're better than someone, so you should make more than that someone. And that's all it's about. It's all comparing to other players. There are very few players. They're out there, but there are very few players that don't care about that stuff. That just want to play football. And it's a pleasant sight to see when that happens, but that is very rare. Most people are just like what you're talking about is, yeah, I gotta wait for so and so. I gotta see what he makes because I gotta get
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
That's just how it goes, unfortunately.
Well, it's not bad to want to have money, right? Like,
Sure.
you want to take care of your family. You want to take care of your posterity. It's just, to me, it's just like, what's the difference between 30 million and 35 million? I don't know.
Hmm.
I have yet to hear from someone that makes anywhere close to that money to say what that feels like. And to me, I can't imagine it's that much difference. And,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, maybe in the long run, there's a little bit less. I don't know. You still be able to buy a house tomorrow. You could still buy a summer house tomorrow. You could still buy a nice car tomorrow. Like even if you cut that by 50% and you're taking home, let's say 18 million, um, that is a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Hmm.
You're getting paid that every year, and that doesn't include the bonuses, like the additional money that you can earn as an incentive. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, it's just crazy, man. It doesn't include
Yeah, and
your sponsorships.
I was gonna say that. Yep. Hmm. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely. I can get on these contracts when they're negotiating for like term because they don't want to go year to year. They want to have stability. I get that. And then the guarantees I kind of get as well because you don't want big boy NFL to just say, nah, we don't want to pay you no more. Like actually no, you have to. Because I mean, some of these contracts, like I'm just looking at the Chris Olave contract. He signed up to $132 million, which he's never going to make that because that's just the way these things work. 90 million is guaranteed. So that's the key sticking point for these players is the length and that guarantee, which I kind of get because if you're signing a deal and you're making, let's just say it's $100,000, but they only give you $10,000. Like, wait, what? What's going on? I signed for that. Well, no, you didn't look at the fine print. Only guaranteed is 10% of it. So I kind of get that, making sure that the NFL gets you what you signed for, at least as much as possible. But still, $90 million guaranteed over 4 years. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And these players are not doing bad. And, best of them, they put literally their lives on the line for the sport. There are some players that after they're done, their livelihood is awful. Like with CTE and all this stuff coming out that you hear about all the time. So during their short career making a lot much money, props to them because the rest of their life might not be the same. But still, it's a lot of money.
yeah, it's true, and I can't take it for granted the injury risks.
Hmm.
That's very very true. Touching on Jalen Carter as I was originally mentioning, um, I'm still surprised how much he got paid. The
Hmm.
38.5 million per year average is surprising to me. Um, but I am trying to be balanced about this and what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking about it. And I think this is what I'm struggling with on the contract extension. It's hard because the Eagles are caught in a catch-22. If they don't pay Jalen Carter, the price is just going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
And there are some big contracts coming up next year. Because the part that was interesting as I was looking at it is that Jalen Carter didn't want to just be paid as the top defensive tackle. He was looking at defensive end pay too. And he wanted to be paid somewhere in the top five-ish as far as overall for everyone up front.
Hmm.
And so that made the salary structure more difficult. Um, I think the part that's hard for me is that he had such a meh year last year that it's like
Yeah.
it's hard to pay him for what he thinks he's going to be. And I guess the thing I'm just looking at it objectively is I could see a world where this works out. I can see a world where this ends badly. And it's interesting because this is the first contract extension the Eagles have had where I've felt that way. I didn't feel that way when they paid Cam Jurgens, though we're having injury concerns right now. I didn't feel that way when they paid Landon Dickerson, though we have injury concerns. Didn't feel that way about Jalen Hurts. Didn't feel that way about AJ Brown. Didn't feel that way about um, Devontae Smith. Try to think of
Hmm.
other good examples to throw out, but those types of players. Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson. And I feel like this is the first contract they've paid someone for what they think he could be. And I do think that's concerning a little bit because you can't just pay them for what you think they'll be. They better be producing
Yeah.
more than that. So
Yeah.
it's hard. The Spitgate issue still sticks out in my head. And there are times I feel like that people will like overlook that, excuse that, the focus on the talent. So
Hmm.
I'm happy for Jalen. It was a great situation for him. I do think it makes sense in the long run. Howie Roseman is saving the Eagles money by not waiting to pay him because the price will
Hmm.
only go up. That is definitely the truth. The salary cap's going up, so players want more as the salary cap is increasing. Um, so we'll see what happens. Because, and even like, when they signed Jordan Davis to a contract extension this offseason, I didn't feel the same way. I felt like, okay, I could see where they're going. I could see why they're
Yeah.
doing this. There's so much hope last year. He had a big year. He put on his big boy pants. And I guess that's maybe my struggles. I just feel like I don't feel like that Jalen Carter's put on his big boy pants yet.
Hmm.
I've seen moments, I've seen glimpses. So um, we'll see how it plays out. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. That is a lot of money. They opened up the farm and paid him all that he wanted, and they also gave Grenard a big extension, and so
it's
that
true.
that money's piling up. And Cooper DeJean, a couple years, he's gonna have to get paid too,
Well,
and
and
he's
Quinyon
gonna be,
Mitchell.
yeah, both of them, and they're probably gonna be top 10-ish in the market, maybe a little higher depending on where they land at that time. So, I mean, this stuff just continues. It continues, it continues, and when you're drafting as well as the Eagles do, they have to pay their guys or see about parting ways with them. And I mean, I'm sure you're understanding like I am that this is Dallas Goedert's probably last year with Philly
Yeah,
because Eli Stowers, he's a good player and you can't pay everybody. And so you gotta get some players on rookie contracts so you can pay your studs. So those are some calls that's going to be difficult in the future because that is a big price tag. I mean, your D line is probably the most expensive D line in all of the NFL. It sits up there because with
yeah, that's a good
Grenard, with
question.
both D tackles, yeah, I mean it's not cheap. It's not cheap, but when you have that much talent, you got to pay them. So I don't blame them. Same as you, but that's a high price tag. That is a high price tag. And if Jalen Carter can just keep his issues as far as anger or emotion, keep that in check and just play football, it's going to be a great contract because he's one of the best D tackles in the NFL. So he should get paid like it, but still a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good they got to take it care of before camp. I'm glad this didn't hang over.
Yes.
Because the heard I had or the talk I'd heard is that he was going to be a hold-in if he didn't get paid.
Yeah. Kind of like Bijan and Jameer Gibbs right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, and you definitely don't want that situation. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
For us fantasy owners, we're totally okay if they sit out training camp because, that means they won't get hurt. And we want them for our number one, number two overall picks. So Jameer, Bijan, take your time, stay in shape. You don't got to practice.
yeah. Well, and there, I mean, I think that the Jahmyr Gibbs situation's a little less worrisome because the fact they're not installing a new offense.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that the Falcons, him and Tua both not playing. Um,
Yeah, the Falcons had to sign a quarterback off the street because
Yeah.
everyone's hurt. Yeah, I think that there's three teams I have concerns with that either have to do with injury or contract stuff. The Falcons, one of them, because both quarterbacks are hurt. They had to sign someone off the street. Like you said, they're trying to install a new offense, and then both quarterbacks aren't practicing that new offense right now. So that's tough. The 49ers, because they're dealing with a ton of injuries. Ricky Pearsall out for the year. The rookie Stribling is dealing with some hamstring stuff. They had to go sign Debo back, which still a good player, but now there are two receivers, Mike Evans and Debo. They both have had hamstrings in the past. So how long are they going to last? Who knows? And then Christian McCaffrey, his pattern is stays healthy all year, 1 year. Next year he gets hurt. That's the pattern. I have concerns over there, and then I have concerns with the Bucks right now because Vita Vea is wanting out. Baker's complaining and saying publicly the contract he was offered. Shouldn't do that. That should be kind
Yeah,
of
this
in-house, but it's still that's bad. And he's already basically saying he's not going to sign now and he's going to be a free agent. And so the Bucks have either give him the 50 million tag, which is based the same amount they were offering him for yearly deal, or let him walk. So it's not looking good over there with the Bucks either. I have concerns with all three of those teams because you
uh
can't tell me that those aren't distractions that's going inside the locker room right now. So
well,
it's I have concerns with those guys.
I think on the Bucks note, the part that I'm just thinking about in my head is you got to blame Todd Bowles at least a little bit. And like, let me explain that as far as I think Todd Bowles last year was too open-lipped about his frustrations with the team.
Hmm.
And when you do that, it opens up a can of worms where if other people are frustrated, they feel like, hey, if he could speak out about this, I can, about my frustrations. And I think that you got to be really careful as a coach about what battles you want to handle publicly versus what you want to handle internally. And, by keeping Todd and not, I feel like there was never a moment where the Bucks were like, listen, we love you and we love working with you, but this can't happen. You can't
Hmm.
handle issues with your team this way. You do not use the media as the way to discipline the team. That's all done, internally in meetings
Right.
inside the organization. And I feel like that by doing that, Baker's now upset about his contract. It's like, well, I'm going to do the same thing. If he's using the media to air out his grievances, I'm going to air out my grievances.
Yeah.
Um,
Lead by
and
example.
I think it's not great. It's a weird move, I think, on both teams or both parts. I think it's weird by the Buccaneers that um, what are they looking for? Like what do they really think Baker has left? But also on Baker's part too. Like he's just had a weird offseason. He goes after Kevin
Hmm.
Stefanski. Now he's doing this.
Hmm.
Um, and honestly, like if your biggest frustration out of your whole experience in Cleveland is Stefanski, I think you're crazy. Because to me, it's the front office and owner that I would hate more in my time
Hmm.
with Cleveland. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now in the NFC South, I think the Saints are just loving all of this. They're just sitting
Yeah.
back there. They're practicing. They're working hard. I love the Jordan Tyson drafting. And they signed Travis Achan, I guess is what he's saying his name is. I mean, they've had a pretty good offseason, and every team around them is falling apart. I mean, even the Panthers, they lost their starting linebacker and the rookie receiver they drafted. I think it's Brazil, Chris Brazil. He's out for the year as well with a torn knee. So it's just like the Saints are just sitting there. Hey, our division's falling apart. We're just sitting here chilling, practicing, getting better. So they might low key be a team that could go from last to first. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Well, and the Panthers had some major injuries too. Um, Chris Brazil, I
Yeah,
think is
one.
his name.
Yeah,
Nick
yeah.
Skouerton,
The
Taylor.
linebacker. Yep. Hmm.
It's like,
And both tackles are out too, I think,
yeah,
to start the
yep,
year. So it's not going to be great in NFC South if you're not playing on the Saints.
yeah. So it's shaping up to be an interesting year for the Saints. That's what I'd say right now, an interesting year. I still think
Hmm.
it's a big hill to climb. Um, they got to figure things out with the QB position. So Shook's got to really
Hmm.
show something.
Yeah. Yep. He's got to have that 2 year leap, that 2nd year leap that a lot of rookie quarterbacks have. And I think he has it in him. I don't know if he'll do it, but I think he has it in him. He showed some flashes last year, so we'll see what he can do. But I mean, if a certain player from the Rams decides to come back, it's 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 almost like what are we even doing competing with that super squad? It's crazy what the Rams are doing right now.
I mean, I would still caution against. I know people are really high on the Rams right now, and they have every right to be, but I've seen these super teams form before,
Sure.
and things don't happen the way that you expect it to. And so
Yeah. And
let's,
injuries can happen to any team.
well,
If
it's like
if you lose Miles Garrett, then Rams are back to being a good team, but very beatable. Or if
let's
you
see
lose
what,
a Matthew Stafford, then you're done.
yeah, well, let's see what, Aaron Donald looks like. Let's see what
Hmm.
or not Von Miller. Oh my goodness. Miles Garrett looks like.
Hmm.
I know what we saw last year, but that wall is very real. That drop off is very real, and it can happen at any moment. So let's give it time. Let's see what happens. Let's let the cards play out. I feel like
Hmm.
people are too quick to like throw the crown on top of the Rams, and it's like, all right,
Right.
hold on. There's an entire year to play out. It's 17 games. It's a long season. Um, the Rams start the year in Australia, and but let's see what happens.
Hmm.
Yes, should they beat the 49ers? I think they should. But I just think people are like, oh, this is the 17-0 team. Well, no,
Right.
they're not going to go 17-0. They're going to lose games, and they'll play probably in the toughest division in the NFC, unless it's the NFC North. It's one of those two.
Hmm.
But let's just see how things play out first.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting year. I don't expect Matthew Stafford to throw for 40 touchdowns again. That's like a
Well, that's the other part too, is like,
those are rare.
yeah, and that's got to be figured out. Puka Nakua's got this weird personal life stuff going on right now.
Hmm.
How focused and how committed is he going to be going into the season? How much of this distract stuff is going to be a distract? I don't know. It could be a pretty big distraction.
Yep. And Devontae Adams is a year older. His hamstrings aren't strong either. He always deals with some kind of soft tissue injury too.
Yeah,
And really, outside of those two, they don't have wide receiver depth because they decided to spend their 13 overall pick on a quarterback.
yeah. I mean, that's a whole different story.
Hmm.
I love how people keep talking about how, you know, who they drafted is that's how drafting tide that's what's paved the way for being able to get Miles Garrett. And that to me feels a little silly because we don't know what this guy's going to be yet. And most
Hmm.
people thought it was a head scratching decision to get him at 13.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Um,
There was a lot of good players on the board. I mean, imagine if they drafted Kenyon Sadiq. They love playing two tight ends.
yeah,
That been crazy, but they went with Ty Simpson. So
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah,
We'll
yep.
see. I don't think there was anything else like NFL wise I can think of that I wanted to touch on. Do you have anything else?
Um, we've covered most injuries. We talked about Olave's contract. Oh, I saw that Jadeveon Clowney is going to be coming back to the Texans.
Texan. Yep. Yep.
Um,
That's just the rich getting richer.
yep. Well, I mean, Clowney's an interesting one because he's like situational pass rusher could still make sense. Could still be a decent move. Um, there is some stuff on like Eagles injury stuff that I could talk about, but we can get to that once we really start digging
Yeah.
into our team's training camp stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I got some
Um,
stuff too for that. Yeah.
what's weird is I can't believe that Stephon Diggs is still a free agent. That seems
Hmm.
weird to me. Especially after the year he had last year. Um, but Keenan
Hmm.
Allen's still a free agent. So yeah,
Yeah, there are still some guys out there. There are still some names. Jadeveon Clowney was probably the biggest name, and Vikings fans were hoping something would happen with that. I didn't really expect it because he's the biggest name, so he's going to have a market, and he's just going home. He loves it there in Texas. And he had, I think, 8 or 8.5 sacks last year, so he's still got some in the tank. So if he's like you said, a situational pass rusher, you can do a lot worse than having him as your situational pass rusher. So that's again just the rich getting richer.
it's very true. Yeah. I mean, I think that that's it for the most of the NFL news I was thinking of covering. Um, I did see that Taysom Hill's considering retiring, which, you know,
Yeah.
to be fair to Taysom, it's the right call. He needs to
Hmm.
he needs to call it. It's been great to follow his career, but he's had a
Hmm.
tough go of it.
He was a fun player. He was a fun player to watch because you never knew what he was going to do next. Was he going to throw a pass? Was he going to run it? Was he going to catch it? It was, he was fun. Not necessarily the greatest of players, but he was fun.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I'm thinking about too, I'm really interested to see what this Raiders team's gonna look like. The fact that they kept
Mm.
Max Crosby, and
Hmm.
overall, Max Crosby seems very energized um, to go out and prove what type of player he can be. Um, that one's gonna be fascinating. What happens with the Kirk
Hmm.
Cousins and Mendoza battle, which I think that Cousins will win that battle.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's what the coach is saying, that he wants to go with Kirk, but how long will Kirk hold that down? Let's just say they're 3-7. I don't think they're going to be that bad, but let's just say they are. They'll throw the kid in, they'll throw Mendoza in just to end the season to see what he's got. Or maybe Kirk isn't playing well. They say, all right, let's throw him in. So I think at some point he's going to play this year, but I do expect Kirk to start at least like the first 5 or 6 games.
yeah,
And I think I was hearing about their schedule. Like their first like 7 or 8 games is brutal. It is an insane. It's got all the top teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Packers or something like that. They got their first schedule. I don't know for the Packers, but their first handful of games is tough. So they might be saying, let's throw Kirk to the Wolves. Then once we get to the easier part of the schedule, which is like after week 7 or 8, then throw Mendoza out there because you don't want his first game to go against like a vaunted Houston Texans defense or something like that. You want him to at
yeah,
least be acclimated a little bit. So that very well could be the plan.
yeah.
All right. And actually, talking about the injuries for the NFC South, the Saints' main defensive tackle, Brian Breesy, also tore his ACL.
I saw that too. I was just reading that right
Man,
now. So
injuries galore right now. I almost want to put all your favorite players just in bubble wrap and just say, "Hey, watch the meetings, go through some walkthroughs, save yourself. Let's
yeah,
not hit each other."
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the big goal right now is you got to find a way to ramp up and get ready for the year, but also
Yeah,
trying to keep everyone till the
it's a
beginning of the
tough
year.
balance.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is it for now.
Well, it was good to kind of dip our feet a little bit, talk about NFL news,
Yeah,
get ready for training camp. Excited for our next episode where we'll dig into looking at more of the Eagles and Viking stuff specifically. So exciting
absolutely.
time, man.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Um, so yeah, we'll dive into that absolutely soon. We'll get right on that. Thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.